Hi all. This will be actually the number one video of Comfortable Hell, number one of hopefully many. Basically me talking and telling the story of my experience with narcissistic abuse. But not only that, I'm explaining, how I got to the situations I got in. I will reflect, not only am I going to tell my story of a particular relationship, but I'm also going to revert back to situations in my life that brought me to have such relationships. So I'm hoping that I really make it fun and interesting for you all, and I'm just going to sort of roll with it. But I also wanted to say that I have this issue with my eye, and a lot of times I see double. So if you see me kind of going like this, it's because I'm trying to get my vision to be straight. It kind of sucks, but I'm going to move forward. So anyway, Comfortable Hell and my experience. I'm hoping to keep these fairly short, because I know not everyone, we like things to be quick, and we like, to have like the connection and the feeling and this magnitude in a short amount of time. So I'm hoping to do that because I don't want to waste your time, but I also want you to feel like this resonates with you and hopefully help you change. So I was watching a movie last night, actually. It's called, what is it? Alice? Oh, Alice, Darling. And it's about psychological abuse. And it resonated with me in many, many ways, although the abuse that I endured was never really, I didn't have anyone actually say, like she was talking about, if you eat that, you're going to be fat. So this is, her boyfriend was telling her stuff like that. And I don't think I had that sort of blatant abuse, but it was more along the lines of, if you running's not for you, you're not built for running, it's going to hurt your back, so it was psychological abuse. But I think, this person could hide behind it because he wasn't actually saying, oh, that's going to make you fat or whatever. So it's kind of like, if you're going to advance yourself, he has to advance himself as well. And he will try to do everything to get you to not advance yourself. So anyway, I watched this movie and I realized that the entire movie was about Alice and how she felt about this relationship she was in, and the absolute rage and anger and powerlessness. And so the entire movie was about one relationship. So I thought about my blog, Comfortable Hell, and how I've gone in many different directions. And although it's good, it's like I feel like I need to sort of ring it in a little bit. And so I thought I would focus on one relationship that I had and discuss it, but also reflect back to my childhood and things when necessary. So this particular relationship that I'm going to talk about is, I'm just going to say Robert, because that's what we're going to call him. So anyway, this was many, many years ago, and I was just recovering from a very, very horrible situation. I was taken back to court. I lost my child support. I lost my ability to claim my children on tax returns every year. I could do it once a year, or every other year, I should say. I didn't have, it was a lot of money as far as attorney's fees are concerned. I almost lost my car. I had to take money out of my 401k to survive. I didn't have anyone to watch my kids, so I couldn't work like a regular 8 to 5 gig because they were little and I needed to drive them to school and pick them up because my parents were in the nursing home. So I would drive for Uber while they were at school and try to make money. I was also trying to work my business, but it was almost impossible. Everything was collapsing. I was eating off my kids' plates. I weighed about 96 pounds. And things were absolutely collapsing and around me. But I turned things around. I did the unspeakable, which was I asked the person who took me to court for money. And he said no. And so that cleared this huge space for me, because that was one of the hardest things I ever had to do, was to humble myself and ask for money. And it didn't matter what this person said in return, because I cleared this space universally, if that makes any sense. It's like I faced my ego square in the face. I humbled myself. I did the impossible, and fortunately it opened up this new window where I was able to receive abundance, and I felt like a new woman. So I'll tell you, when you feel like, when you're like, I would never do that. It's like, like I would never ask my ex for money, or whatever it is, or I'd never apologize to my ex, or just when you think that it makes you feel really sick to even imagine doing that, go ahead and do it. And it's just like your ego. It's like, I used to always tell my clients that it's like the Wicked Witch on Wizard of Oz, just like collapsing, because that was my ego. And the universe responded and showered me with abundance financially. And I was able to pay off my car, pay off my debt, pay the people I owed. People were coming over with groceries. I mean, just all of these things. So I faced the impossible, received abundance in return from a completely I couldn't even make this up where the money came from, but I was in a really good place. Now, it wasn't tons, don't get me wrong, but it was enough for me to pay off my debts and have a good chunk of change in the bank. A nice chunk, a safety net, moving forward. So I didn't date anyone. After I got divorced, I don't think I dated anybody for about 5 or 6 years. It never even occurred to me to do it. It never even occurred to me, because my kids were so little and there was a lot going on with them. And I was never on a dating app, nothing, for like 6 years. It was crazy. And so I decided to go on one, and it didn't last very long, because I was looking at someone who super liked me on this app, and what the hell does that mean? And so I'm looking, and if you all have been on Tinder, you just keep swiping left, right? You're like, da, 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 swipe left, swipe, swipe, swipe. You see someone that super liked you, you go into their profile, and then you can go back and forth, right? So I'm looking at this person who super liked me, lived in, a city close by. He felt very familiar to me. So it wasn't like, after all of this work I've done, I've been a student of the Kabbalah Center for 20 years. I have seriously changed so much. I've looked at all the shit I've done to people, and every year during Rosh Hashanah, I ask for forgiveness, and I've done so many things. So many things that I've done to people have come up, and I'm like praying that gets cleared, because I wasn't the same person that I am today. This is going to make me cry talking about it. So it's like, I know I've done a lot of shitty things to people. But I felt like I was in such an advanced level when it comes to spirituality. And it's like, I was so looking forward to having this person who was on a spiritual path of growth and really wanting to change people's lives. And, and then I found this person, and I was going back and forth, and I'm like, it just seems like all the other people I've ever dated and been with for long term. He seemed very familiar to me. I can't explain it. It was just like, another neighborhood guy, who, and I don't want to diminish, please, I've done enough spiritual work. I'm not saying anyone's better than anyone else, but there are levels as far as what you're able to see inside yourself internally, and the work you're willing to do. And I just felt like I've done a ton, and I really wanted somebody who was on that same path. So I was in this person's profile, and I'm going back and forth, or at least I thought I was in their profile, and I swiped right and I ended up connecting with this person. Flash forward many, many years after I had left the situation, I got a reading done by an astrologer at the Kabbalah Center. And she said, I mean, and this is somebody who doesn't know me personally or my situation, but she was talking about this relationship that I had. And she said there wasn't anything that you could have done to stop that relationship from happening. So you gotta forgive yourself. And I was like, what do you mean? And she's like, the relationship was karmic. She's like, you came to this lifetime with an agreement with this person that you would show them that relationships can be different. And I said, what does that mean? And she said, you were here to show him that relationships can be independent. They can be different. And that was your karmic debt to this person. She said, your debt isn't that he would change. It was just that you would show him. So she's like, stop beating yourself up about, you could have done this, you could have done that to get out of it. Or all these red flags, all this shit. And she said, there wasn't anything you could do. It happened. You showed him, and he doesn't want to change. He doesn't see it. So that was how the whole relationship started. So I'm going to end this vlog by hopefully getting your attention a little bit, that you'll want to listen to a little bit more about how this happened and all the red flags and all the things I didn't do and all the things I learned. So this is how it started. So stay tuned for vlog number 2. Thanks, guys. Bye.